Welcome to Dipito.
The Dipito Let's Talk Crypto show. I am doing well, Melissa. How the heck are you? Look at everybody already up in this mother plucker.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I just had somebody tell me my link didn't work that I sent him, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Well, I was a little freaked out there for a second myself. I was like, "Whoa, what link? Like, which one? Where'd you get it from?" Because I did the same thing earlier from a different. I went about it a different way, but hopefully those people will see it on the post. But how are you?
I want to welcome everybody who's in here. If you'd please share this out so we can get more folks in here. That would be awesome. Tonight, Simon, we're going to dive into the intriguing world of altcoins.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. For those of you newbies out there, if you've ever wondered what sets these digital assets apart from Bitcoin or how to pick the best ones for your portfolio, well, tonight we're going to talk about it. You're in the right place. We're going to explore some of the popular altcoins out there like XRP and Litecoin and Cardano and Hedera and Stellar and VeChain, and hopefully we'll touch on some of them and talk about some of their unique features and use cases. So grab your snorkel and let's dive into the sea of altcoins together.
We are going into the deep end of the crypto pool today, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean, because it is massive and it is vast with all the altcoins that are out there.
I know. And it's been kind of a confusing thing for me, and even doing a little bit more research preparing for the show, I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know as much as I thought I knew. I want to welcome Kita and Becky's here and the new mindsets here. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. But before we dive into the whole altcoin thing, we like to do a little thing called
15 minutes of inspiration.
And it doesn't have to be 15 minutes. It's probably going to be short this time, but this is feel good stories, comments, whatever. If you've got something that you want to say in the chat, let us know. We'll put you up there. What's your feel good thoughts for this happy Wednesday?
Well, I don't really have a thought per se. I have been trying to focus on myself in the sense of being a positive, I don't know, influence, but it's not like I'm hey, feel good today, everybody. Well, I'm not. It's not like I'm going out there that I guess aggressively. So something I'm trying to work on in my area is people don't smile and people don't wave in my area. Like other areas, like across the nation, right? Or even a head nod. It's kind of not here. But if I give a head nod to somebody else in a different state, I seem to get a different response. So I'm just trying to smile at somebody and just say hi and literally make sure that they heard me, because sometimes I'm like, hi. Hi. And just just kind of do something like that, because I've seen a lot of videos out there where like these guys will, I'm sure it's staged. Most of it looks staged for the most part. Some look legit though, where they'll walk up and they'll hand a girl like a flower, and I'm like, oh that's my cup. But that's a play I would do, man. Just here, you need something special today. You're a female, don't know you, but I don't want you to beat me up either, and I'm not trying to be a creeper. So here you go, flower, deuces, bye. I was like, I like that. There's another one that's kind of going around on social media. It's the hug, where to test people if they'll hug. I'm like, what, I'm gonna try the smile thing. So I kind of been doing that on and off again throughout the week, just trying to remember, hey, smile at people, even though in my thoughts I'm like, how's that gonna work? I got to do that thing. I'm just trying to be more, I guess, personable. I guess. Yeah. So that's one thing. One thing I'm trying to do,
Yeah, I like it. I try to do that. I try to do that also, and you know, sometimes it's hard when you're trying to do it and you're feeling it, and then you get that, you know, negative Nancy, you know, that gives you this not nasty look or just
Oh, the
doesn't.
stink eye gives you the stink eye.
And
I
feel myself and like, what's your problem? And then I'm like, okay,
yeah,
this is not
so
your
relatable. Like
time.
if I get the stink eye, it's like it's deep down. I
Yeah,
just start to laugh uncontrollably. I'm like, you're not having a good day. I'm
yeah,
sorry for you. I really am.
yeah.
And I'm laughing at you. And this is not good. This is not how I wanted this encounter. I did not want it to go this way. But I hope your pants get dry. That's all I got to say. Whatever happened to you, I hope it works out. You know.
Right. So my feel good today is right before the show I was listening to Coach JV had Maya from Fruition Productions on, and they were talking about the film that they're releasing called XRP Unleashed, and
Sweet. Yeah.
it was really cool to listen to their conversation. And what really stood out to me is the just how kind everybody was to each other. Kind of, you know, they were just lifting each other up and giving each other flowers and respecting each other. And, you know, Maya was explaining that, you know, she really wanted this film, her and Chris wanted this film to be about the people. And, you know, through all of the avenues that they went to try to get this film out there, they were being told you have to have a superstar, you know, to promote your movie or be in your movie, and that is not the route that they wanted to go. And so they are doing the self distribution. They're going to be releasing it in November, I think 11th or something like that. You'll have to look it up, but it's coming soon. And it's pretty incredible because it is made up from the people. And so they say that we're going to be surprised at what's gonna come from it. And so I don't know. It made me feel good because, you know, you and I have met lots of people in this space, and the people that I've met have had very genuine hearts, and they were showing that yet again, when they were talking about this movie and how they inspired each other in that. And surely a lot of those folks have inspired me. You've inspired me. Keita's inspired me. Marvin Davis in the house. Thank you for coming to the show, my friend. Appreciate you. Yeah, Becky, everybody that comes and supports us too. We love you guys. We're doing our best, and it really does matter. It really does help.
It does.
But so this is going to be a little bit more this is a deeper conversation than I thought it was going to end up being when I started doing my research to kind of to touch into this. But you know, like I said at the top of the show, you know, when you're dipping your toe into the crypto space, it is pretty confusing. You've got your Bitcoin, which is the big daddy of them all, and then you have all of these altcoins. And so we're going to talk about what the heck an altcoin is. But before we start with that, I have a fun fact, a couple fun facts, or like a fun fact and a statistic. And did you know, Simon, that the first altcoin ever created was called Namecoin?
Namecoin?
Did you know that? Yeah,
No,
I did
no, I
not
didn't
know
know
that. Apparently, it was launched in April of 2011, and it was developed based on Bitcoin's code and aimed to decentralize domain name registration, making the internet more resistant to censorship. And so I thought that was a pretty interesting. And then the fun statistic I found was as of September 2024, there are over 26,000 different cryptocurrencies in existence right now, with altcoins making up a significant portion of of this number. And Ethereum alone owns or holds more than $389 billion in market capitalization, making it the largest altcoin by far. So isn't it amazing how diverse the crypto world has become? And I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of coins. And people that build these different altcoins, and that just because there's 26,000, that doesn't mean they're all actually still doing anything, right? I mean,
well, relevant would probably be the appropriate term there.
right.
They might not have any relevancy, and that's 26,000 that made it past the birth, right? And you're experiencing that with Chicago.
Yes.
And you're, so to get it out there and to make it past the pump dump and everything else, and it's still there is one thing. Its relevancy, that's totally something different, man. And an altcoin, the term altcoin is meaning there's Bitcoin and then there's everybody else. Those are altcoins. There's Bitcoin and then there's altcoins. This is how it works. But
Bitcoin was originally created to serve as a decentralized digital currency. For those of you that don't know, they wanted the desire to enable peer-to-peer transactions without the need for intermediaries like your banks and your big governments. And the goal was to provide secure, transparent, and censorship-resistant financial system. Like, do it. But as it's evolved, now Bitcoin's often compared to say a digital gold, because like gold, it's being seen as a store of value and a hedge against inflation. And there's only going to be 21 million ever mined for Bitcoin, and there's a limited supply, they say, of gold. And neither one of those are controlled by any central authority, which makes them an attractive alternative investment and a safe haven. So, I mean, that was the original thought process. But as we know, our financial system is not just currency. It's not just peer-to-peer transactions. There's a whole lot. And I kind of want to touch on that later. But what I thought before we really get into it, I just wanted to briefly touch on the difference between tokens and coins.
Okay. Yeah. Well, good. Valid. That's good. That's good. That's real good real good idea.
Because that's something that and even today I still catch myself and get confused on the difference between token and coins. But what I found, and I want your take on this, the primary difference between a token and a coin lies in their functionality and the blockchain in which they operate on. So while there's some overlap, they're different.
Yes.
So
yes. Yeah. So like Ethereum is not a token, but there could be a token created on the Ethereum network to what's a good way to say it? Okay. Remember back in the day where you take your dollar bill and you stick it in the video game coin machine and you get tokens?
Yes.
Okay. So, but you can only use those tokens on those video game machines. Okay, so that would be a token. It's like for a good or service, or what's happening now, a real world asset. Right? We're saying, oh, that's even kind of a bad example for the dipper towers. But yeah, it's a representation of the real thing. Okay, so the real assets. Does that make sense? I'm trying to keep it simple.
Yeah. Well, so here's Melissa's research that it kind of makes sense to me in a more formal explanation. What I came up with is that a coin is a digital currency that operates independently on its own public open blockchain. They may be sent, they may be received or mined.
Right.
They're typically used as a medium of exchange, a store of value, or a unit of account. And these are digital money. And examples are Bitcoin and Ethereum and Ripple XRP. Whereas a token is a digital asset created on an existing blockchain, often through smart contracts, and they can represent various assets or utilities, such as access to a service, voting rights, or ownerships in an asset. And examples include Tether, Chainlink, which are built on the Ethereum blockchain. So in essence, coins are native to their own blockchains, while tokens are built on top of existing blockchains. So does that sound about right to you?
Yes. For simplicity, yes. Because there's some things that's happened in the history of the crypto space. And to the point of it's on its own blockchain. Okay. So Bitcoin you mined, Ethereum you used to mine. XRP you don't mine. They're already minted. But there's no more. Right? It's done. Can't make more, right? And that seems to be one of the variables in what is a coin or what one of the characteristics of a coin. Blockchain on its own network, right? The native token, if you will, okay, or native coin, the native coin. And there's usually something that has to do with the finite amount. There's only a set amount. That's it. No more can be printed, made, etc. Versus a token. A token, you theoretically could just hit the printer button and add more, make more tokens, and add them to and then release them onto the blockchain that you're using, like Ethereum or Polygon or XDC, any of those. Base, you've talked about Base before, right? Chicago is a great example of that. Chicago, right? Is a great example of that. So, but here's where I'm going to kind of dive down into the weeds a little bit, right? There was this before. There's kind of a line in the sand in the crypto community space that proof of work, proof of stake. Okay, where it's where proof of work, through consensus and that seemed more sound, fair. I'm going to use the word fair versus over here where it's proof of stake. Well, he or she who holds the most coins and locks them away gets all the control on that blockchain. Right. So there was some beef there back in the day. And Ethereum actually Ethereum 2, because the Ethereum that we know about today is not the OG Ethereum. Yeah. That would be Ethereum Classic, by the way. Both are their own blockchains. They're not tokens. They are coins, right, on those networks. But Ethereum that we know today made the jump from proof of work to proof of stake. And I remember personally going, well, that's kind of now has the characteristics of maybe a token from a controlled standpoint, right? Money printer, we're familiar with that term. And here in the United States, right? They can just turn it on. It's kind of the same thing. It's just another tactic. And this was just my opinion that, well, if a certain number of people hold all the coins and they have the power to say, nope, we don't recognize these wallets anymore on the blockchain. Like, can they do that? I didn't know if it could happen or not happen, but that was brought up. Just like governance tokens too. Now, I don't want to get too far deep into that, but there was talk of like, well, now it's a token. Now they're going the token route and not the coin route.
And as we dive into this a little bit more, because of course I got a bunch of notes here.
Yeah, you do.
As we dive into it, we're going to see there's a big variety of altcoins, and
Oh,
when you think
huge.
about when you think about our financial system, the way that it is now, not just the United States but the world's financial system, it's not just about moving currency around, right? So our entire system is made up of complex. It's quite a complex system. You have your financial institutions like banks, financial markets like the stock exchanges, financial instruments like assets and securities. You have financial services like asset and liability management. And so the altcoins are kind of they're being created to figure out ways to do that in a decentralized way. And so if Bitcoin is being considered as a digital gold, serving as a store of value and a hedge against inflation, these altcoins that are being created, they can play various roles, complementary roles in the broader crypto ecosystem. And so basically, the way that I see it and what I've known for a while is they're transforming our entire financial system, and having it be more decentralized. Because right now we are in a hugely centralized system, and we want to get that. We want to change that. We want a level playing field, and a decentralization is the key to that. And so, what do you think about that, Simon?
The decentralized part.
Yeah.
Well, can you elaborate on what that looks like comparative to the non-decentralized now? Can you like find a few components there that this is 100% different over here versus over here? You know what I
Well,
mean?
I mean, if for example, the way that when you put your money in a bank and you want to send it, well, let's say cross border, for example,
Okay.
there's an intermediary, several intermediaries to move money from point A to point B. There's a
Right.
whole bunch of steps that handle the money before it gets to where it wants to go, and there's
Right.
a bunch of time involved. There's money involved, cost of fees. Everybody takes a little fee along the way, and there's also the potential for errors in that, and you can't trace it as easily as a decentralized way, being on the blockchain, no intermediary in between. It can go, and depending on what you're moving or what you're doing, uh it could just go from point A to whatever, like say Ripple, for example, XRP being a bridge currency, to swap value for value. Boom, it's done in seconds. Whereas, as we talked on the show before, it takes days and days to
Well,
move
that's
money across the
right.
world.
And now that's a time issue. That's an inefficiency. I
Hmm.
guess like when I hear the word decentralized,
Hmm.
that means nobody's in charge.
Yes.
Okay.
Nobody's in charge
But
and everybody's in charge, right? Like,
okay, right. Right. But what's happening right now is it used to be uh, here in the States, because I can only reference that because I don't know how it's going on globally. Everybody could mine Bitcoin. Everybody still has the ability to mine Bitcoin, but slowly, surely, the big players are doing what they normally do. Now, this time around, it's they're a little late to the game, which that's good. But they are circling the wagons as best as they can to get a foothold in just that space. And I know that, you know, all entities are trying to do that because that's how that works. So when I think of, centralized versus non-centralized, there is very much well, either you're doing what they're doing or you're not. And they're very centralized in how they do things. They will adapt, but it's the control factor. Either, I guess, it's either everybody controls it, or it's a select few. And that's where this is my mind, where is it centralized or is it decentralized? And eventually it can start out as decentralized, but eventually it gets centralized to a degree, even though it might be more fractals, as opposed to where it's kind of right now, maybe 1, 2, 3 globally, big places that are in charge. And now we might get to 5 or 6 with our new financial system and going, no, this is very one-sided. We need to get it down to a level playing field. But even in that level playing field over time, history has shown that it gets back to this level here.
Couple points. So
okay.
Yes, I agree with what you're saying. This is why, for those of you that are dipping your toe right now and you've been thinking about it, most of the time when there's new innovations, new opportunities, it is built and presented from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the first time that this is from the bottom up. We are at the beginning level. Well, we're not at the very beginning. We're kind of getting farther and farther down the road now. But we still do have an incredible opportunity to research these projects that are working on this decentralization and the new financial system, and building out the infrastructure, and how things are going to work. And so you have an opportunity of a lifetime right now to buy into some of these projects, research some of these projects, pilot some of these projects. We're going to have somebody on the show in the next week or so that is a password manager for your passwords that you control everything to. Where right now you're buying a company and you're trusting a company. So pretty much everything that we do right now, we're trusting another company or entity to house our data, house our money, house our titles, house our, whatever it may be. They have that in their centralized location. And what they've been doing over the years is they've been sharing that information and profiting that from that information, from that data, from our data. They've been targeting us and so on and so forth. And so not only do they control all of the money, they also control all of the media and everything. Okay. And so this whole decentralization, it's not even just about cryptocurrency and the Bitcoin and moving, me being able to send Simon $20 in Bitcoin, peer-to-peer, anonymous, or however you want to say it. It's so much more than that. And so as we dive in to the world of altcoins, and I started doing more research on it, there are several different types of tokens and projects that are being built to add to this decentralization, so that when we're ready to transition over, these things will interoperate with each other. And so that is kind of, for those of you who don't know, those of you that are just dipping a toe, you never kind of, that's what we're talking about. And so what I would like to do, Simon, is talk about some of the different altcoin types and the key roles that they can serve. And so I have several different ones, kind of purpose and example, and then we can kind of dive into some of the actual altcoins themselves.
Okay, so just to clarify, we were talking about the different types of cryptocurrencies. You're talking about different sectors where they're being applied to within the cryptos. Well, originating within the crypto space, but then obviously being used out there in the real world down the road, or even right now, arguably, with some of these. But that's what you're giving reference to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, let's go. I like groups.
Well, so here are some different altcoin types, and the key rules that they can serve. And I just pushed my button.
Stop pushing your damn button.
I pushed my button. I pushed my button in it, and my notes went way down. Son of a gun. Well, so the first type of coin or token, it's utility tokens. And the purpose of utility tokens is that they provide access to specific services or products within a blockchain's ecosystem. And so examples, it's that, Ethereum could be used to pay for transactions and computational services on the Ethereum network. Similarly, the Binance coin can be used for transaction fees on the Binance exchange. And so that was the example of utility. And then, of course, we've talked about stable coins on the show a couple of times. The stable coins are designed to maintain a stable value by being pegged to a specific reserve asset like the US dollar. So you have your Tether, USD coin, USDC. DAI is another one, DAI, and soon Ripple's RLUSD. And these can be used for trading, remittances, and kind of seen as a stable store of value in volatile markets. Now, those particular coins, you wouldn't necessarily think of those as like an investment, right? But they're somewhere to store your funds. And in theory, you store $100 worth of stable coin. When you come back in 2 weeks, it's probably still going to be $100. It's not going to go up and it's not going to go down. And I mean, that's what we all hope and wish for. And then you have, governance tokens. Governance tokens allow holders to participate in decision-making process of a blockchain project. So the examples are Uniswap, the Uni token, and the Maker. They're examples that people can use those tokens to vote on protocol changes and improvements to that particular blockchain. And then there's altcoins called privacy coins, and these focus on providing enhanced privacy and anonymous transactions. And so my son had said, "Mom, you got to do a show on Monero," which I still haven't learned about a lot, but Monero is XMR, I believe, and Zcash, and I think that's ZEC, if I'm not mistaken. But these kind of tokens offer advanced cryptographic techniques that kind of obscure your transactions details, so that you are kind of more anonymous when you're transacting in either a Monero or a Zcash type of token. And then I don't know. Do you have? do you have my notes? Or no?
I have some notes.
notes. Okay.
We got, okay, so we got the privacy, you got the also, back in the day, I mean, there was what was it called, Pirate Coin. That was one that was trying to do the privacy thing. It was later to be a rug pull, but that was kind of interesting, right? Because I'm going to touch on the privacy coin here just for a moment.
I love you, Jay Henry. Thank you, my friend. Smash that like button.
Smash it. The privacy coins is like, it was when those first came out, I was like, well, wait, what? I thought we were already in the private, there's the address. We're good. And then, course, doing a little bit more research, you're like, oh, you can see all how many tokens are in that wallet. Ooh. But that's the sacrifice for transparency. My name's not on that address or anything like that. So not the everyday average Joe could find out what's going on there, but it's really, in all honesty, it's not the average everyday Joe that I'm concerned about. It's, people that have a full-time job hustling people out of their cryptos and etc. Those are the ones, I'm definitely concerned about. Or I don't know, concerned is the wrong word. It's more that I'm trying to make myself more aware of where's the sneaky 12-year-old that is a genius that has is doing some crazy stuff with a touchpad or iPad or just a smartphone or something like that. But you got your platform tokens. They serve as a native currency, like we talked about earlier in the show, on the blockchain, and support decentralized applications. So dApps, and that's a rabbit hole on its own. Oh, actually, we got to get Quincy back because I want to talk to him about that. Because he's explained it very well, really fast, but very well. Actually, really wasn't that fast. But he's explained that very, very well. And some of those are like your Cardanos, your Solana. Yeah, Solana. Yeah, is another one. And there's Polkadot. Yep, Polkadot. Yeah, Dot's been around for a long time. So is Cardano. Those two right there. I mean, they really have stood the test of the crypto time, or they've stood the test of time in the crypto space. I was going to say the crypto clock. It goes rather fast in this world, but they're still there. Their projects are still live and very well. And I would also like to just add this tidbit, since we're talking about altcoins, and this is very relevant in any coin that you're into. Just because you haven't heard anything exciting in the public social media space does not mean that project is dead.
No,
in my opinion, if you're not hearing noise, it's because they're hard at work building.
Yes.
Right. So, it's kind of like, you drive through a town, they got crappy roads. 3 months later, you drive through that town, you're like, holy crap, look at all the roads, the lights. Oh, is that a new burger joint over there? They got a crumble cookie right here. Oh my God. Yes. Right. So just, kind of keep that in the back of your mind. I haven't heard anything. Great. If you're saying I haven't heard anything, hey, go look. Go to their website. Don't go to social media. Go to the website. Like, guilty as charged. I go, oh, has anybody heard anything? I do the default ask thing. But anyways, I'm going to digress on that. But if you're not hearing anything on these projects, they're probably working. Just like XRP, Ripple. What's Ripple doing? What's Ripple doing? What's Ripple doing? It's like they're working.
It's really interesting, though. It is interesting, though. There are some projects that are louder than others. And I would say, Ripple, XRP, the XRP family, they're very loud. They're very loud and proud. But in the Bitcoin folks are very loud and proud. But some of these other projects out there that are really working hard, like you say, you don't really hear too much about it. And so when new folks come in, they're like, well, I don't really know. And what's unfortunate is they get caught up in the sea of influencers that are screaming at the rooftops that that you have to buy this particular off the beaten path token or whatever before you really even understand what it is. And so that's what part of the reason for our show is to kind of help folks feel comfortable dipping their toe in any of these projects that we're talking about tonight. These are projects that have been around a long time. Yes, there are lots of little gems out there, and maybe we'll touch on some a little bit later. But we're basically talking about like the ones at the moment that have been in the space for a while, and they've been actively building and working to be interoperable with other projects. And that's key, because when you think of our financial system, and not just the financial system, everything. So we're going to touch on some other tokens too, where, you know, it's even like the supply chain. Well, that's not necessarily the financial system, but it gets tied in, right? And so you want all of these things to be able to interoperate with each other. And so if you have projects that are working hard to do that, that's a good thing. You don't want to be off on an island by yourself. You know,
Maybe.
I mean, well, you could be off on an island, and maybe there are some little island things, but I'm just saying,
Right. I know. I got
you
you.
know,
I got you. I was
especially if
just
you're
thinking
dipping
about the
your toe.
island.
Yeah, well, I kind of want to be on an island too.
Yeah. I was like, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe not today. Today's not a good day for. Well, of course, the rest of the week is not a good day to be down an island down there in the Gulf. So, my hats off to everybody showing some love.
I just want to
people go ahead.
Amen. I just want to reiterate to those new folks that are watching, what an incredible opportunity this is for you to give this space some attention. Please do it for yourself, do it for your children, do it for your people in the future that you don't even know are going to exist yet. You can comprehend this if you give it a little bit of time and you start looking into it. This is happening, whether you agree with it, whether you want it to happen, whether you think it's going to happen. It's happening. And so the best way you can protect yourself and possibly set yourself up for life is by giving this space some of your attention and making some educated decisions with a little bit of your money. A little dip of toe could make a world of difference if you choose the right one. So
I don't want to overwhelm anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to overwhelm anybody. Melissa's being very nice with her saying, you know, give this a little bit of attention.
Give it a lot of attention. Yeah. It's worthy of it.
It's totally worth it. Okay. Here's the and everybody in this chat. I know this. I am looking at the names, up in here, and everybody in this chat knows this.
Crypto Jamma's here. Glamma. Yeah. Yay. Glamma. Love you guys. Thanks for coming.
Dang it, got thrown off with Glamma.
I'm sorry. I did it.
I know it's all good. It's all good.
Apologize.
Okay, attention. No, that's all good. Attention. I ate this, I breathe this, I live this, I still do. And yes, I am burnt out. I have crypto fatigue, like you wouldn't believe it. Like it's there. Like I was when I was really into this, and which I mean I still very much am, but like I was excited. Yeah. Right. I'm actually on phase 2 of my crypto journey. I'm on phase 2. I'm locking in profit. Now what? Now am I doing that today? No. I got to create a plan. But I learned that I need to create a plan because I eat bread, whatever. It was my whole life. I'd go to work listening to crypto. I'm at work. I wasn't listening to crypto. It was all the time, all that I talked about, and so, Melissa's saying, give this a little bit of your attention. Yeah. To say, hey, there might be something here. I'm here to tell you straight up. And, if something bad happens to me later about it, fine. That's just the water I swim in. It is definitely worth your time. Definitely worth your time.
And here's the thing, yes, we are giving this a lot of our attention, but we're still having fun. We're still having a good time. It's not all work. No. I've met some of the most wonderful people that I've ever met in my life, and we cut up and we have a good time, and we meet up. So it's not like, you have to forego having a life and having friendships and that. It's just, priorities, man. Priorities. And by God, if you have a little bit of freaking money that you can, that is, I don't know, so many of us have miscellaneous, yeah, or miscellaneous 401ks that have a couple $1,000s in them from the 3 different jobs that we had from all these places, and it's just sitting there doing nothing. And
Nothing.
right? I mean, like there's opportunity there, and I just always want to try to inspire people to give it your chance. I mean, give it a chance. This is, like I said, this is our time where things are being built from the bottom up, where the little guy, and they're not going to spoon feed it to you. They're doing all kinds of chaos and craziness to confuse people. But when you weed through the bullshit, you're like, well, yeah, wow, this makes sense. They are transforming, and you've got Larry Fink, BlackRock.
Thank you. I was just gonna say hi. Can you name some top shelf, been around the block, individual that's in this space?
Yep.
Larry, thank you. Larry Fink.
Larry Fink.
Who else?
Even Jamie Dimon, he's even started to, so there's lots of it, lots of indications that this is, it's heading in this direction. And like I said, you have an incredible opportunity. And so we're going to go over a few more of the different.
Sorry, I derailed this.
No, so they also have they're building DeFi tokens. So I mean, when you think about that, they power the whole DeFi decentralized finance system applications, and they enable the services like lending or borrowing or trading without intermediaries. And so there's Compound and Aave, and they're used within their respective DeFi protocols to facilitate those financial services. And I will say, like, when I first got into crypto, I wasn't really giving those types of tokens very much attention at all. I saw them there. I think there's one that's called like Yearn Finance or something. And my big boss was investing in that. And I wasn't exactly sure, what it was all about. But these things are real, and people that have money are already actively using these things. So, you have the opportunity, and most of the time you have to be an accredited investor to have these types of opportunities,
Can we retouch on what that actually, sorry.
Yeah.
My belly button was getting pinched. I was like, ow. Do it. Can you touch on what are the minimum requirements to be the accredited investor?
Oh, Jesus. Let me look
I'll
it
name
up.
a few. I know. Okay. I name a few because one day I thought it was, first off, I thought it was a certification process. I mean, as in,
no, it's a money thing.
I go to the prestigious schools of money. Sorry, Trump, we're gonna play you in a little bit. No, it goes a little something like this. Check mark 1, you got to make over $200,000 per year. Check number 2, or qualification number 2, or you and your spouse make over $300,000 a year collectively. Number 3, you have $1 million in assets. $1 million in assets. Number 4, you get your awesome, probably very well paid lawyer or financial professional to literally sign off. Yeah, they can cover that, whatever that is. I'm sure there's more paperwork involved in that, and I think I'm missing one. I know I'm missing one. I'm missing one. Tell me, what am I missing?
You can hold certain credentials or designations, such as a Series 7, Series 65, or a Series 82 license.
Right.
So that's another way, but this is for your protection. They prohibit people that don't hold these types of things from investing in higher risk opportunities. And they have to have the financial means and understanding before they're allowed to do it. And that's why there's a big poo-poo on the crypto space, and folks like Elizabeth Warren, saying that it's taking advantage of people that that are getting involved in crypto and they don't understand it and that sort of thing. And so some projects, they start out a certain way and then they end up saying like, you have to be an accredited investor. Like I was listening to the World Liberty Fi, Donald Trump's US venture that he's in. I mean, I listened to the call and I was disappointed because at the end, they spoke about being an accredited investor. But then I'm like, okay, what they're building is probably something that that's the chosen area they've decided to play in, right? For the DeFi space. So I was a little bit disappointed, but it is what it is. But
you know what?
There's plenty of opportunity.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Cool.
Yeah.
Trump, I thank you for getting
getting
it out there. But what you're doing, my friend, what you are doing is you're not leaving the high earners behind. And I tip my hat to you, sir, because us Main Street low earning individuals, so $199,000 a year and less, we can go and get those digital assets right now. What? Right today.
Right.
No certification required. Maybe some KYC, but other than the KYC, it be all on me, and I'm good with that. So watch me become an accredited investor overnight.
Well, that's what they say, and many of us are going to become an accredited investor. I believe it has to be. It has to be. I don't know if it's for a year or 2 years or something like that. Oh yeah, it's for 2 years. So you have to have an annual income of at least 200,000 or 300,000 combined with a spouse for the last 2 years, with the expectation that you're going to have it in the same or more in the same, or you have the net worth over the 1 million. So not counting your primary residency. That's the other thing.
Which I think is bullshit.
Yes,
but
because if you think about it, excluding the value of your primary residence, well, for the average Joe and Jane, what's the biggest asset that most of us hold?
Definitely not your house.
Well, in theory, yeah, because you don't even really own
My
it.
learning has shown me no, it is not your house.
That's the other thing too.
Damn.
So yeah, I mean, so basically the super cool thing about this whole space is, more and more people are starting to look into this like they never have before, and they're getting a real world education as they look into it, because it requires you to. You can't just dip your toe into the crypto space and like come in and expect you're going to know everything. You got to do some work, just like we always say, crypto is not for sissies. You got to do your homework. You have to be responsible.
Stop being a pansy.
But believe in yourself and give this stuff some of your attention. Start small. But back to, there's also
about DeFi.
We're talking about DeFi,
right? Which is, guys, that's really cool, but I'm not going to talk about that. But it's really cool.
That's very cool. I mean, I'm still,
dude.
I still haven't done
huge.
it.
Like
I'm going to.
Okay, continue.
It's an opportunity. They also have NFT tokens. And now an NFT token, like, excuse me. That's like, you hear a lot about the NFT on the television and stuff, and they make fun of it, or they make it seem like it's very insignificant, like you're just trading a JPEG with each other, right? But the purpose of NFT tokens is it represents ownership of a unique digital asset. And that could be art, it could be music, it could be virtual real estate. They have tokens like on the Ethereum, what is it, ERC-721, that are used for non-fungible tokens in platforms like OpenSea and Decentralized. And so the NFT tokens, I think, is something that it is going to be a lot bigger than what people think. I mean, what do you think about NFTs, Simon?
So
concert tickets, right? Could that be an NFT? Because
anything on paper.
Yeah.
Anything on paper. Let's go down this rabbit hole just for a moment. Okay. So let's forget the Da Vinci's. Let's forget the Michelangelos, even though he wasn't a painter. Let's forget the oh my gosh, I'm forgetting somebody. But anyways, Picasso. Let's forget the Picassos. Let's talk about for those of you that live in some type of shelter and you pay money to stay there. Okay. Well, that's a structure. All those materials and everything associated with those materials, where they were sourced, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that could be all in one NFT. Okay. So if you moved into an apartment complex, let's say, okay, and you got your little babies, and they might have some type of allergy, or they're sensitive to certain materials versus others, right? You could theoretically go look up the NFT at that apartment complex, right? And go, oh, yep. Oh, hey, this is good. Heck, you could probably have AI just go find me the NFTs that, that have this, or don't have this, right? So it's basically, in my viewpoint, NFTs are great for on-chain receipts of transactions, the whole list, everything that was applied to that one thing. Think about like even just artwork. Okay, where'd the paint come from? Is that factory still around? What type of brush did the artist use? Where did they source those brushes? What was the location that the artist was painting in? All these like historical facts could be boom put on the NFT. I look at the NFT as a blockchain receipt of everything that has to do with that building. And I came from that, just from construction. Everything that had to do to make your building like a high rise, it could be all on one NFT.
Immortal Cerrito says proof of identity, ownership,
and intellectual
property.
Your deeds, your titles, like the whole coup de grace. Now think about this just for a moment. I know I'm going to use the word freedom people out there know this. The reason, do you know, actually, let me ask you this, Melissa. Do you know why we have to pay for our tabs on your vehicle?
No.
Okay.
Enlighten me.
All right. It's a rabbit hole. Okay, so you pay off your car. Okay, you pay off the loan for the car. You get a title, but that title is still under the control of the state, right? You registered with the state. It's registered. So that means you're getting permission from the state to have that thing and operate it around in their jurisdiction, right?
Yes.
But why do you need the permission to begin with?
Good question. I don't know. Why?
Because they have the manufacturer's title. They have the I can't remember, manufacturer's universal what's it called? It's basically, you have the VIN number on the car, but they actually have the piece of paper that came from the factory. Ford, Chevy, Toyota. It gets sent to the state, and since they hold the original manufacturer's, I'm going to use the word deed or title, they hold that and they give you something else. If you bought a car cash money and you told the dealership, hey, I need the I want to say it's MCU, but that's the wrong. I know it's it's not UMCs, but basically it's your manufacturer's numbers to that specific car. Then when you ask the dealership for that, say, hey, sorry, we can't give you those. We actually have to send those off to the state. The reason why they have to send them off to the state is because they have a business license with the state. And so in order for them to be in business, they have to do what the state says, blah, blah, blah. But if you're going out of country, you can say, I need those numbers because I'm going to register it over in a different jurisdiction outside the US. Then they will give them to you. And now, since you have them, you are the real owner of that vehicle. So NFTs, it's an interesting thing. It's a deep rabbit hole, but there's validity there. They own the real numbers. You do not. So, back to the last comment there, where proof of identity, ownership, intellectual property. Yes, if you have that in your wallet, you got it. And it would be really interesting to see is if they tokenized everything, like what I'm giving reference to. You could go see whose wallet it is, and that later, future proves past.
right.
Someone referenced this movie or this video later down the road, man. Awesome. I'll be like 90 years old. That's me. I told you. Dippy toe.
Future proofs past. Kita says, or Life with Glee says, why couldn't an NFT represent something in the analog world like a title deed? Yeah.
It totally could. 110%.
Totally could. Totally could.
So when you sell the rights and all that to, say, like, was it Michael Jackson bought a song from the Beatles, right? So when that goes down, he theoretically got everything unless he signed it over to some portion of that to another record company, his label that he was a part of, right? Or the label that owned him, so to speak. So that's totally there. So to add to this, just to kind of bring it back around, the NFTs in the art world. Okay, so I have my phone. It has a certain number on it, right? Okay, so I would have this physical phone, but also if I had a crypto wallet, I would also have the digital asset. So I have the physical and the digital proves that the physical is mine. So like if you had the hanging Mona Lisa copy number 552 hanging in your house, your stuff got jacked, you can go, it's mine. That's my wallet right there on the blockchain. Right. And then, there it is. You got it, lock, stock, and barrel, So I think NFTs, so not talked about in that capacity, but they literally are going to be a thing in the future. And what's going to be really cool is they will be the end result of like the smart contracts, that are coming out there, when all those little in a smart contract, checkbox number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, whoop, keys are sent off, money's transferred, paperwork goes here. Dude, all that paperwork on the blockchain, those are all NFTs, and they're in certain wallets, and you can go look at it. You can go, oh, there's the address, there's transaction number, Yep, it's there. That's theirs. They're the ones that control the access to it, so they have ownership. They own it. I'm not going to say ownership. That's a bad word. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Life with Glee says, didn't a singer tokenize a royalty of one of her songs and sell NFTs so that the holders could get a share of the royalties? I believe that is correct.
William Shatner did it. William Shatner did it. I know some baseball players have done it to their cards. Trump did it with his NFTs, right? Like I know it's kind of, but dude, it's proof of concept.
I mean, now, I think that the things that we see, there's a lot of little pilots going on and people participating in it. I'm convinced now that back in the day,
when I was young,
for anybody that was they were it was all about the memes on Twitter back when it was called Twitter, and all of the Anons and the Q movement and that, and they were really heavy into sending these memes back and forth and all over. And, you know, I think about it now, and it was more about what was in the meme, because most people don't look, but there's a lot of data that can be put within a meme, and you're sending it around from wallet, right? And so what better way to test something out than a bunch of unsuspecting people passing along a NFT? They might not have realized it was an NFT at the time, right? But they could trace everywhere it went. And maybe certain people knew that there were messages within the meme information where it could be read and what. Yeah, very interesting.
That is like, you want to bait the opposing side. You sent it, they look at, okay, it goes around the block. Like, I mean, dang, dude. And then they caught on. They're like, no, don't do that. Don't you open your wallet.
Yeah. I remember them saying something like, you know, they can't filter us. They can't get us through the memes. And so people were creating memes with messages on them, but saying like the algorithm or whatever couldn't read the memes, or they couldn't stop the memes or whatever. Right. But I really think there was more of an ulterior motive there, and more of a test per se, than many of us realized at the time. Even now, when we're sending information around, I think we're all kind of being guinea pigs, and we might not really realize it. It's kind of cool. We're the leaders. We're the early participants of this space.
What did you told me this yesterday on our phone call, or was it yesterday? It was yesterday. The greatest human experiment ever, or something to that effect, right? We're the biggest human experiment.
Yeah. They say,
the great human experiment. That's what it was.
Yeah, they say America is the great experiment. You know,
you're lying. Oh, speaking of experiments and big things here in the U.S., I just have to do this, otherwise I'm gonna forget. Okay, so everybody, pay attention. I know there's 10 of you watching, but the 10 of you are gonna be in the know. So let's do this. Alert! Y'all got 90 days till Christmas Eve. Count it if you want. 90 days till Christmas Eve. Woo, jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle all the way.
Santa Claus. All right. So
back on track.
Back on track, and I just hit my button again.
You gotta quit hitting the button, yo.
I gotta hit the button.
We got the NFTs. We got the interoperability tokens. Right?
Yep. Yeah. So you want to talk about those?
Sure. We have they facilitate communications and transactions between different blockchains. So kind of like a bridge. Okay, bridge tokens, if you will, and also different networks. So Polkadot, once again, is in that sphere. Atom, but it's not. Is
Cosmos?
No, it's Cosmos, right? Yeah, that's the only one. That's the only weird one that says, here's the name, but the ticker is totally way off chart.
Way different.
You know? Yeah. Right. And there's a lot of bridge currencies that offer the interoperability that's going on. Mr. Mann talks about it a lot on his show and on his posts. Those are really, really cool. And I remember, this is cool that they got it to the token level or the cryptocurrency level, the bridging. It used to be like, if you wanted to take one coin from one network, so let's say I wanted to send you Ethereum, but it needed to be, or I wanted to send you Tether, but it needed to be on the Binance Smart Chain, but I had it on the Ethereum ERC20 chain. I would have to do like a bridge convergent on app, and then it would convert it to that blockchain, and then I could send it to you. So that part right there, let me tell you, I've never been so stressed in my life within crypto, because I really didn't know what was going on. I knew what, I know what I know what buttons I'm clicking and why, but I couldn't tell you exactly in that moment what was going on. And that's what freaked me out, to be quite honest. But now there's coins that'll go, nope, boop, we got you wrapped up, gift wrap. Bye. See you later. Nice hat. So I think that's really, 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 really much needed in this space. We need to spend
and again,
each other.
It's interoperability, interconnected blockchain.
Yep.
Again, playing together, because they realize that there is going to be no one winner of this. We all are in this together. We're all working together. We need to work together. It's for our benefit, right? And it's like I said on the previous show, certain things in platforms, or whatever you want to call it, products resonate differently with different people. And so, you got your Android users, you got your Apple people, different, same kind of service, but different interfaces, or whatever you want to call it. But we can still talk to each other. You and I can talk to each other just fine. And that's how this has to be. There's going to be certain things that, are going to be easier for people to maneuver than others. It's just the way it is. And so, when we work together, we win.
So imagine that just for a moment, what Melissa just said. I want to reiterate something here of why Melissa keeps saying, give some of this your attention. Imagine that you could invest in 90% of everything that made all of this that's in my hand right now. The cameras, the plastics, the chips, the boards, the circuitry, the whole coup de grace. That you were invested in all the entities that built it, all the entities that manufacture it, all the entities that got it to my hand right now. Imagine that. That's where we're at right now. We can participate at a very awesome level to where
ground floor,
right? We are ground floor. We get to own a chunk of the new system, and I do mean global system, right? There might be specific niches that we are focused on because we're into it, but nonetheless, you get to own a chunk of that 90% of that at some level. Do it. Seriously, do it.
Yeah. And the other cool thing, Simon, is with this space, I'm meeting people across the world that I would have never had the opportunity to talk with and learn from. And I just love it so much. I mean, we have so much more in common than they want us to understand. We're strong together, and it's just really fun to talk to people from other countries and listen to the challenges and problems that they're trying to solve. And, you listen to conferences where there's, people from all different countries working on coming together and working on a problem to solve it with the intention that the world is going to benefit from it. So it's really a much different picture than they paint us on the news, where we're all at war with each other and they're killing people, and all these things.
Well, I mean, the Bitcoiners and some of us hardcore XRPers are like,
yeah. I mean, when you watch these conferences and you see these people from all different walks of life, all different countries, and it's like, wow, it's very interesting. They're really working hard in the background, and they're cooperating with one another. And that's a huge sign, because what is the keystone to everything is money. The whole financial system, it's all intertwined with every single thing you do. Well, maybe not every single thing you do, but a lot of stuff that you do. It intertwines with our lives so much. And so
it's bigger than money. I mean, money's one thing. Let's talk about money, because money makes the world go round. And yes, that means it moves products, goods, and services.
People.
Okay. That's it. If we don't have money, we got to have something else that we call money to do business / transactions with one another, neighbor to neighbor, community to community, county to county, state to state, nation to nation, land to land, sea to sea, sea to shiny sea. But on the real, like if you delete get rid of dollars, how are you gonna get your milk today?
You're gonna have to
what
trade.
Are you gonna do right? You got to trade something, right?
Somebody, you better get friends with the farmer that has a cow that has milk.
Oh, I mean, I might want to get friends with the cow. I mean, cow might follow you home. You know what I'm saying? But then what you gonna do? Get the hay, the shelter, all of it. Like we've advanced as a populace or society or species. The word species. We have advanced thus far in trying to fix that problem, because that is a huge problem for us. How are we going to get the things that we need through negotiation? Well, we're changing that. Simon be moving his neck around.
Huh? Sing Jesus says Simon got soul in his neck.
I got soul in my neck. You better watch out.
Got some soul in your neck.
Dude, I'll break a neck and I'll break my back.
Who chose the scrolling message that says Christmas Eve is 90 days away? That would be Simon. That would be Simon.
Okay, so sorry, I'm gonna sidestep on that. So it was my kid's 22nd birthday yesterday, right? And when he was turning 10, I figured this out because I was doing a budget. We had the birthday party way back in the day, right? 10 years old. Congratulations, man. Cake was good. Ice cream was better. And I was doing my budget and I was like, oh, you know what? I think I need to write this out till Christmas. I'm always not doing enough money or something in Christmas. I always kind of screw myself on a budget level, during that time of year. I'm going to try to bite it in the butt this year. I'm going to put in all this effort. So I did that. And I'm like, how many days do I have? And I counted out. I'm like, oh crap, 90 days. That's nothing, dude. That's holy nothing. Oh, I get paid every week. Yeah. Oh my God. Like it's here. It's here. Like so now. So now, like every year, I like to remind friends, families, and whomever, especially like if I'm on the job site, I'll definitely remind everybody like, hey, y'all only got 90 days till Christmas. They're like, shut up, Dewey. It's like, yeah, dude. Count it out. Look at your phone. Like, oh my God, that's a year. Like, oh, there's a layoff coming. There's this. I'm like, yeah, you might want to buy those gifts right now. Thank God.
Might want to do it
on the real, on the real. And thank God for cryptocurrencies. That's been my default. Here, you get this. You don't like it? I don't care.
I don't care. That's what we get for Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. You don't like it? Send it back. I don't know how to do that. Figure it out. Bye. It's always been good, man.
All right, we got one more. Which is special use case tokens. So these are special purpose tokens that serve special niche markets or specific industries. And an example of this one, and we talked about this before a little bit, of VeChain. VeChain, VET is the token. I actually looked into that a couple years ago, and my gut told me it's good. So, but they focus on supply chain management. And so we'll kind of look into that a little bit more. And then there's also like Filecoin. That is decentralized storage solutions. And so, those are, I think the special use case tokens are really interesting, especially when you start diving into them, like the supply chain management and what you were talking about. So when you were talking about that as an NFT, I was thinking, supply chain also, like, I think they have a project like seed to table deal where you can you're saying where this was produced, or wine, like where it was made, and it goes all the way to the end, and you can see where your bottle of wine was. What's that?
Have you ever had Five Guys? the burger place Five Guys. I know, sorry. Have you ever had Five Guys?
I have not had Five Guys.
We are not PG
pizza.
no more. Okay, so
I have not had Five Guys pizza.
Okay, one of their.
But I've heard of them. I do. I'm aware of them.
What? Oh, okay. We need to write that down on the list. Next time we're in a crypto place, I'm gonna find out where Five Guys is. We're going.
Get it.
I will jump off the carnivore diet for that one, just so you have done. One of their cool things that they do that is one of their niches is they list the state, the county, and the farm that they got their potatoes from. So your French fries, you know where that came from. Nice. It's kind of, and I felt like that's kind of neat. I could see how VeChain could be a part of that. Mm-hmm. This is where it comes. This is where it came from. This is where your seeds of the potatoes came from, even though it's other potatoes.
I think about these businesses like that. What an incredible opportunity for you to pilot something like that and be on the forefront, like the beginning of that, because eventually,
what?
So many things will be that way, And so if you were you could really get yourself recognized by being an early player in this, So if you have a business and you sell something, look into it.
I know one. I know a business that their whole supply chain is here in the US, and it's like you were saying, from seed to table. Theirs is from seed to t-shirt. They make they make cotton
Very
t-shirts.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I definitely want to use them for our dip a toe t-shirts coming soon. Yes, but that'd be cool to see if they could do it on the VeChain. I have to get the farmers on board. I need our homie Farmer John to help out with that conversation. I'm not afraid of mud or poop, but people just can't handle me.
Well, so for all of the different types of altcoins, I'm sure, hopefully you guys can see that altcoins diversify the crypto landscape by offering specialized functionalities and addressing specific needs that Bitcoin alone can't really do, wasn't designed to do. And that's why I always like when people are, it's Bitcoin or nothing. And it's like, no, there's more out there. There's several needs that need to be fulfilled other than store of value or peer-to-peer transacting. And so the diversity, I think, helps drive innovation and expands the use cases for the blockchain technology in general. And if we are going to move to a decentralized financial system and more, we need these technologies being worked on and developed, and having them interoperate with one another. And so, I'm really excited about it. I think there's a lot of, we'll talk about some of the popular altcoin specific ones. But when I think about, I was listening to Greg Kidd. Are you familiar with Greg Kidd?
No.
He's somebody that I've kind of followed. He's kind of been all over the place, dipping his toe here and there and everywhere. And I think the latest project that he's involved with has to do with the digital identities, if I'm not mistaken. But I was listening to some conferences with him and some interviews that he did, and the concept of owning your own digital identity. And so, these things are being built right now. We are trusting a centralized authority of sorts to house our information. And so, or right. And then, how many of us, every one of us has had our identity stolen at some point or another.
Did the Social Security Department get hacked not too long ago? They cleaned us out?
Yeah. That and or when you go
Thanks, guys.
somewhere, they want everything. You know, you go to the doctor, or you go wherever you go, they want all this information. So then you have yet another place that has all of your information when all they really need to know is, are you Simon? Are you Melissa?
Name, birth,
Whatever.
there I
Right.
am. Yeah.
Exactly. And so they are building digital identities where you actually own your data. And then you can use it in a variety of different ways to where you're not having to give every Tom, Dick, and Harry your information.
Yo, Tom, Dick, love you.
And so and so this is where I'm really interested in exploring this further and learning more about that, because, part of my, apprehension in a lot is where, like, I can't really understand how this stuff works. Like, we're going to have the password create generator or keeper people come on the show. And I really want to understand, like, how does it work? Because I felt like, well, somebody must know what my passwords are. Like, I don't really get that whole, random generator thing, and how, nobody else has access to it if I forget or whatever. I don't really necessarily get it, but I know that things like that are being built, and I feel in my bones that it's a heck of a lot better system than what we got going now. Than the way that we do business
Amen
now,
to
and the
that.
way that
No
we have to
argument
share
here.
our information now, the systems that they are building, and the people that are building, from what I can tell. Like, I don't know these people personally, but I do enough watching and listening, whether it's whether it's right. But I mean, okay, so Quincy, and there's a person who,
Patrick Riley, he's building shit.
Right. But I do.
Sorry.
People that I even people that I don't know, I'm listening to, and I listen to them in spaces,
right.
and they're developing different things, and I don't really know them, but I can hear from them, and the way the questions that are asked of them and the answers that they give. These are people that really are trying to do the best thing for us, for our own sovereignty, and get it out of the centralized hands. And so I really want to encourage anybody that's building these things. I want to support them, because I think it's pretty incredible what's happening. And I'm super, again, I'm super excited about all of it. XRP Slave, my goodness, how you doing, old friend? Welcome. That is the good thing about VeChain Power Tracks, where everything came from in the product.
Shit.
Yeah, that's a very interesting project that not a lot of people talk about. VeChain.
Let's talk about VeChain, and just hey, you might want to go out and go get you some. Current price right now, a little less than 2.5 cents. For the parabolic move's coming. If you buy right meow, and you sold way up there, by the way, retesting its all-time high, my friends, that is a 933% move. So what does that mean?
If it's what? Say that again. Say if you bought where?
If you bought right now today at right down here, see this little price right there? $2. Ah, that'd be great if it went to $2. If you bought right now at 2.43776 cents, so we're just gonna call it just below 2.5 cents. If you bought right there and you sold at its all-time high, which definitely gonna happen again, at 25 cents. That is a 939% gain. So almost a 10x. Almost a 10x. You throw $100 at that, times that by 10, boom. That's what you got.
For those of you who don't know, VeChain's a blockchain platform that's designed to enhance supply chain management and business processes. It aims to provide a comprehensive view of an organization by integrating the physical tracking with blockchain technology to ensure transparency and prevent fraud. So the token is VeChain token, and it's VET, VET. And then they use VTHO, or VTHO is used to power the transaction and the smart contracts on the VeChain Thor blockchain. And just for those of you who don't know, it's already in use. It's being utilized by a variety of companies across different industries to enhance the transparency, efficiency, and traceability in their supply chains. Walmart China uses VeChain right now to track food products from farm to the store. It's ensuring food safety and quality. BMW implements VeChain for verifying authenticity of auto parts and improving supply chain logistics. DNVGL, I'm not sure who that is, but they partner with VeChain to provide digital assurances and certification services using blockchain to verify data and processes. And then H&M, you ladies might know H&M. They use VeChain to track the production process of its clothing items, ensuring sustainability and ethical practices. And so, I mean, that's just one of these altcoins that are already being used, VeChain, and nobody really talks about VeChain. And I mean, these guys, obviously they're piloting that, they're using it, and I'd be curious. I would love to like see numbers and stuff of, for efficiency and how much it's improved the supply chain part of it, the inventory aspect of it, in those sorts of things. I mean, they talked about food safety and that as well. But those are all the kinds of things you were talking about, like that could be the information that could be put in like an NFT. But right. VeChain's doing it. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And you have an opportunity right now to buy into something that's like freaking 2 cents, like, get yourself $100 of it or whatever. I'm not financial advice. Do what you want, but look it up. At least do a Google search. Type in VEH or VECHAIN VeChain. Just type it in, search it out, start looking at it, and ask the Google, like, who's using VeChain right now and what are they using it for? And it'll start giving you these answers. But it's just incredible. Crypto Shark. What does Crypto Shark say? I feel like if it's been around in the last cycle's coins, it may pump but not go parabolic. Maybe not. I was listening to somebody that I don't normally listen to today, because I'm kind of, you get stuck with listening to people, and I'm an optimistic person. And so I do gravitate towards like positive type mindsets and whatnot. But I was listening to some folks that were like, they were kind of negative on XRP, and they were negative on some of these other tokens that people are saying are going to, really do good. And I thought, I didn't like listening to the negative words that were pressing back against my opinions, right? But I really was glad that I listened to it, because I think we all need to have that in there, in our minds too, of like, just because you start researching something and you feel super, super confident in it, things change and other questions come up, and that you need to continuously ask questions so that you can evolve, right? And the information, the flow of information, and things change and all of that. And so, I did that little exercise with myself today, and can't say I liked the way it felt, but I did it. And I can't even remember what the guy's name was. One guy was, there's this Nodi crypto guy. And I was like, oh, we should have him on the show sometime. But there was another gentleman that I had never heard of, an older gentleman that was talking about tokenomics, and he was kind of going over tokenomics and that. And he was giving all the reasons why it's impossible for some of these coins. He was naming like XRP and XLM, and he was going off of the amount of tokens that are out there and comparing it with previous cycles and how many tokens are out there now, and saying like it's just literally impossible for them to reach these crazy prices that people are predicting. And so I thought to myself, okay, I need to really look into what this gentleman's saying, because he could have a major point that I am unaware of. And so, hey, Crypto for Life, thank you for dipping a toe, my friend, Mr. James McFadden. What does he say? Greatest crypto family on planet Earth. EARF, Earth. Yeah, Mr. Shikaka. Thank you for coming, James.
Thanks for swinging through, brother. Yep.
XRP Renegade's here too.
Hey, sending peace and blessings to you, my friend Renegade. I know where you at. I am praying for you and your family that you scathe this this storm that's swinging through down there in the Panhandle area, in the Florida, in the Georgia, in the Alabama, and the Tennessee, and the South Carolina, and the Georgia. My Georgians are gonna get all mad at me now because I'm making fun of them. Really good barbecue though. Good to see you up in the house. You know, I get the whole topic of the price speculation. Like I really do. I don't really speculate anymore. Like what I was just showing just a minute ago. It's like, okay, where's the price going to go? It's like, well, okay, I'm willing to sell at its recent all-time high. Everything? No. Profit? For sure. Why not? That's, for me, that's a no-brainer. At some point, given the research on the project, that's going to happen. Well, how do you know? Well, XRP is going to have to hit its $3.20 before it goes to $5, $10, $15.
Well, this guy was saying like he doesn't even think it's going to reach its all-time high. It does, there's no chance of it hitting its all-time high. And I'm like,
how long has he been in the damn space? Because really?
I mean, I know, and this is where I said I was listening to what he was saying, and I'm like, okay, this is something that for all of you listening, thank you guys for coming and watching. I realize we used to stream the show on X, but a lot of our viewers were just watching it from my channel, and so we're really trying to grow our @Dipito YouTube and @Dipito on Rumble, and get more of our viewers and our following there. And so that's why. And so it's so cool that you guys, the 16 of you guys that are here watching, we love you so much and we appreciate you supporting the show. But that's why it's really important when you're watching somebody or you're listening to somebody, try to figure out where they're coming from. What perspective, what angle are they coming from? Because they'll kind of tell you. And so if you're holding something for the long term,
like Chicago,
or it depends on the kind of token. Like if it's a shit token that
Chicago.
You carry on.
Depends on all right, do it. It depends on the token, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there's different types of coins and tokens. Like, let's talk about most talking about a shit coin. Some people would say Shiba Inu is a shit coin. Some people might say Doge is a shit coin. What's it doing? We're getting to that point to where either you have a big community behind it and that's what's pushing it through, or you have its functionality, utility, its adoption, and or you have both. Now, if you have both, you got a winning combination right there for prices to go back up to all-time highs. But most bringing up a valid point is really trying to understand, hey, where's this person coming from? Why, first off, why are they saying what they say? and how did they arrive to that perspective or conclusion? And honestly, that's a tough thing to do. It really is. I would say that though, those of us in this space, we're able to do that. We definitely have more of an open mind. I mean, you got Crypto for Life, them just going and saying we're doing this shit coin project. We just want to see what it's all about, and they're running with it, man. They really are. They're jumping through the hoops. They're seeing the process, and I really tip my hat to them and all the ambassadors, because they are getting the best education that they can ever get. At some point, you're going to need a college degree to learn what we are learning right now in real time, and it doesn't cost us any. Well, I'm not going to say it doesn't cost us any dollars. I've made some horrible investments in this space, but I was looking for scratch tickets. I was looking for things to, I'm going to be rich overnight. It's like, the reality of that, or the likelihood of that, is probably a lot smaller than I would have cared to admit back then. Right now, I have a whole different perspective. It's all about building. And if you're in this space, this is one space that can exponentially grow your building process fast. If you're building wealth, or you want to build wealth, or you don't even know what building wealth is, but it sounds cool, this is, in my opinion, a great space to be in for being a part of something that can change your life over the next 20 years. And I know that 20 years sounds like a long time, but I want you to think about the very wealthy families that are around here in the US and globally. They have been running that game since, I'm just going to throw out a number, 1500s. That started out. It's like they had to start somewhere, right? So they've had 500 years, okay, 10 generations to fine tune it, right? And they know once we have these boom, I'm going to say boom cycles, but it's more of technology. When technology takes a leap, all profit for them who are in the right position. Those of us that are invested in crypto right now, you're in the right position. Maybe you don't have all the right coins. It's not about that. You have some of these right coins. Keep doing your research. It's worth it, because when here's the big thing. What are you going to do after you're wealthy, right? Okay. I know we all say this in the XRP community. What are you going to do when XRP hits $15? Okay. Yeah. You can talk about what you do, but you have no idea what you're actually going to do. What is your plan? Where is it at? And let's go a step further. It's like, okay, let's say I decide to sell some at $15. Some of you probably be like, I would never sell my XRP. It's like, dude, you don't know yourself in 5 years from now. You don't. Yeah. And I'm not saying XRP is going to be $15 in 5 years. I'm not speculating on that. And the point of the example I'm trying to paint here is that if you took profits of $15, how are you going to protect that? How are you protecting your assets right now? I mean, I know Becky's in the chat, and Becky went through a horrible situation. The community rallied around her. She's whole again, because of the love of the community. But that doesn't happen every day, and that doesn't happen everywhere. We have to remain vigilant. And I remember as a teenager and a 20-something, hating on people that were wealthy, and it was mainly because just the attitude that I felt like they were projecting on me, right? I'm assuming that they were thinking something about me because they were better than me. Well, that was my opinion on what my perceived conception, right? Wrong. The more and more I go down this building wealth road, my network is literally within this cryptocurrency space, and now the IBC world, the infinite banking concept, which is old school wealth building, with just new toys to get us there. And what I'm learning is protection. You need the protection of your assets, of your wealth. So of your wealth. So you I know, right? Of your wealth. So that you can pause, do research, take your time, investigate, so you can continue to build. Because when you're building kind of on the fly, because that's what we're doing, we're about to get a wave of wealth at some point somewhere. Even if it might not be wealth, what you might not consider $10,000 wealth. Well, $10,000 to a lot of people is a leg up in life. And so now, one, what are you going to do with that? Two, how are you going to protect that? How are you going to protect that initially so you can take that leg up and leverage it again, or bring in, have it build some more wealth, create some more advantages to you, like you just did here in the crypto space. Because even us in the crypto space, we're talking about altcoins, like real talk. You might as well take some dice and throw them at the wall on some of this stuff. You can do all the sciencing that you would like, which is good. Do that, because if you know what's going on, you'll know what to do. But this space still is a gamble. It's a far less gamble than what it used to be 4 years ago, 8 years ago, all the way back in 2009. It is far less riskier now than
even 3 years ago. 4 years.
3 years ago. Now think about this. Fast forward 3 years.
Exactly.
Fast forward 3 years. Is it gonna be less riskier to be in the crypto space? You bet your sweet butt it is. But how do you protect that? Right? Yeah, and that's where I'm at on my phase 2. I am deep in my phase 2. I didn't really recognize it as a second phase, but it really is. I have to plan protection strategies, my emotions. That's actually one of the biggest things that I've loved about this space, is I've learned how and who I am in these high emotional times, and how I've screwed up. I've had some costly mistakes, but I'm so glad I made them now, because I've been able to bounce back and come back with it strong. And if you listen to any successful millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire, they will tell you they have fallen flat on their face. They've lost it all, but then they got it back, and then they lost it all again, and then they got it back. Like it's a constant Cinderella story. It's a constant thing, but that's how they evolved. That's how they got contrast. That's how they learned. And then they take everything that they learned and they build it again, do it again, build it bigger, better, always doing better. And with that,
one thing that you said resonated with me. And I was listening to a show that I hadn't listened to before, because I told you I was kind of going outside of my comfort zone. But I came across, was it Uncle Buster? And I have to tell you, Uncle Buster, XRP boardroom with ZRK and Buster. And I think Marvin Davis might have been in there. But I'll tell you what, these guys their conversation was awesome. There's some bad language they had floating around in there, but one of the fellas, and I don't remember who he was, what his name was, but he mentioned something similar to you in terms of money mindset and realizing that when you're talking bad about people that have money, you're actually pushing that away from you. And so when you are thinking positively about it, you're gravitating towards that, then it gravitates towards you. And so, the mindset is really something, I see it like resonated with me when he was talking about it, because especially when I was raised on welfare. I came from no money, free lunch card type deal, the whole 9 yards. I mean, did not have any money, and I too thought that people that had money were looking down on me, and I don't belong here, and they were nasty or whatever. And what I found is, the more that I opened myself up and started talking to people and asking questions, people want to help other people. I mean, it is in our nature, in asking for advice and that. And the more that I did that, the more information that I got, and the more better questions I was able to ask, and so I've kind of evolved over time. And I feel I do the same thing in this space with all of us crypto people. Well, there are people that are like, well, I will say this: most everyone in here seems to be very intelligent, and I give anybody kudos and consider them intelligent if they're brave and willing enough to do the work and ask the questions. And that's half the battle. That's half the battle. You have to be willing to do the work and ask the questions, and research and find those answers, and then get part of the network. But never judge a book by its cover, because
it has everything to do.
Awesome people that I've met are people that you would look at and not have any clue on how intelligent they are, like, or what they have, or whatever.
Okay, here's one, and I love this dude. I absolutely love this dude, and he knows what I'm talking about. But when you look at the legend, he's straight up big mullet, right?
Oh, yes, legend.
Yeah. The legend, right?
Yeah.
When you look at him, you'd be like, no way. But when he starts spitting facts,
absolute fire.
His mind, he says it wears him out, and I know it does. I know it does. But his mind is such a fascinating, beautiful
he'll
mind,
message me sometime in the middle of the night because he
has he shared something with you? Has he shared something with you?
I told them, I said one time, I want to have him on. I wanted to talk about the relationship with the Ripple, right? Yeah. And we were going to have a conversation because I did a lot of studying up on it too. And he's like, oh, I'd love to talk to you about it sometime. And he's like, but I'm a night owl. And so every once in a while he'll message me at like 1 o'clock in the morning and say, like, you down for a talk? And I'm like, I'm sleeping now. But he has that mind where it's just going and going and going.
He does, man.
I have the same thing too, where I just have to go to bed, Melissa, go to sleep, Melissa.
No, Sean is his name. Yeah, everybody out there in the XRP community knows who he is. He's awesome dude right there. But you want to talk about judging a book by its cover? Like, seriously, people get blown away. Like, whoa. I mean, and now, I mean, you look at him now, as far as the circles that he's operating in right now. It's the mind. You would have never known. And honestly, I think most of us wouldn't even gave him the time of day out on Main Street, right? But because we're like-minded individuals in a safe place of the XRP world or whatever coin you happen to be in, suddenly it's like all that Main Street judgment crap goes away.
Yep.
Gone.
Yep.
Right. It's one of the beautiful parts of it. One of the beautiful things I love about this space. When you get around like-minded individuals, man, it's just, everything goes away. To the point about that I was trying to make with the high and mighty Richie folk, I understand what I would call the staunchness. I would bring it to a type of first off, their lifestyle. It's very matter of fact. When they say, why would you do that? That's stupid. And they're literally saying in their most caring way, but I don't think it's even caring way. It's like they also understand their time.
Yeah.
Their time is their most precious asset. Man, they're not going to give it away. Like, dude, they got stuff to do. If you can't keep up, that's not my problem. But if you speak the language, I will give you a gem. And then it continues because that's what was done for them.
Yep.
At some level. I'm not saying all of them. You can say, hey man, some of these were silver spoons. It's like, cool. but someone way down the road was not a silver spoon.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where I think that, at least in my family, I'm the one putting the flag in the ground. That's doing the exponential growth. All my family members before me got me to where I'm at right now.
Yep.
They got me to be in this place where I have this opportunity to participate in this space. So now I get to be the one that gets to do the home run hit.
Yeah.
They loaded the bases for me through multiple generations. Now I get to hit the home run. Right.
Yeah.
And but I do understand why the staunchness, because I am my own way. I've noticed that my perspective has changed. My mind has changed. You know, it's like I get why you are this way, or you have the appearance of this way, right? And it comes from a position of protection.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
really
we all have our limitations or limits of what we'll accept, right? From others, and it changes. The stronger you become, the smarter you become. When you feel like you're doing something worthy, when you're building something and you're gaining that momentum, the stronger you are to not allow someone to stop you.
That's
you
right.
know, once that train's going and you're moving along, some of the baggage that maybe used to weigh me down, I don't have time for that nonsense now.
Nope.
And I do call it nonsense. I mean, if you have certain folks, and I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but I don't have time to talk on the phone for hours at a time with somebody that has a repetitive problem that they refuse to take the bull by the horns and fix it. Right. Like now you're dragging me into your, problem that you're not willing to fix yourself.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm not saying that to be judgmental. I'm just saying, we all, the more educated we are, and the more that we're working towards a goal, the less you're going to let somebody, infiltrate that and prevent you from achieving that goal.
Like that cute little girl said, "You just worry about yourself, Daddy." You just worry about yourself.
Just worry about yourself, Daddy.
You just worry about yourself, Daddy.
Well, I tell you, Simon.
Altcoins,
I think we're gonna.
Altcoins.
Well, I think we're at a good point for ending. There's a whole bunch of coins that we could go into, which we can touch on some of them in another show, because they actually, the ones that that I would talk about, you're talking a whole nother hour of going into all of these multiple shows. And I think that we should dive into some of these specific ones. Maybe going forward, we pick an altcoin and we just talk about that one, and then along with other topics that we do, just so that we can keep going with this, because I do think it's important for people to understand the difference and why these are important. And I'm hoping that this show, for those of you that are dipping a toe into this, I'm hoping that you got something out of it, where you're understanding how important the altcoins are to the ecosystem, and what they're going to provide for the future. And I'm super excited. There's some really cool people building in this space, and I think it's awesome. I think it's really great.
Absolutely. Yeah, I second that. We could do the pick a altcoin, pick a coin. We'll talk about it. Pick a coin, altcoin day. Or just maybe we'll work it into, we do the 15 minutes of inspiration. We could do 15 minutes of the coin. We'll just give it a quick bat.
Yeah, check out
a little
this
quick
one.
bullet point. Right. And even if there's other ones that people, hey, talk about this coin. I want to know a few things. Well, what do you want to know? Let's talk about it. And we'll just go into it for a little bit. I think that's a great idea because alt season is on the way.
It is on the way. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. We'll see. We'll see.
I know March is going to look good. That's my speculation, though.
If you guys have made it this far, we thank you. If you would please like, share, and subscribe to Dip a Toe. There's Teresa. Good to see you, Teresa. And Crawfish is here too. I forgot to say hello to him. Yeah, we really appreciate everybody that comes to the show. If you would like, share, and subscribe, that would really help us. And if you would put a little comment or something underneath, be nice, please. That would help us also, I think, get a little bit more.
Hey, and if you're one of those spammers, we're probably not going to take down your comments because comments help us push. So even though you're trying to push your own stuff.
Oh shit! I've been deleting
the best trading. Yeah. What are you going to do with your profits? Yeah. Oh, and then all of a sudden there's 13 comments after. Yeah. It's like, yeah, sure. Whatever, fellas.
No, you're right. I've been hiding them or removing. I got excited one day. I was like, oh, wow, they're talking to each other about like, oh, Mrs. Cleo, help me with my trading and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm hoping that anybody that watches this show is smart enough not to fall for that. And I mean, really at this point, does it work? I mean, are there people that really are answering to these or talking? Please don't talk to anybody like that. Man, I mean, don't be silly Sallies. Like, let's not go there. We'll never reach out to you and ask you for money or tell you we're gonna trade you this and give you a whole bunch of coins back more or any of that stuff. We're not gonna do that. And none of our people that come on the show or come inside the chat and whatnot, none of our people do that. None of them. So just ignore those folks. And if you guys are looking for a fun show, that Uncle Buster was fun. I mean, I'm trying to do mine. Oh, cheers, guys. Look forward to the next time. Looking forward with you too, Life with Glee. We appreciate you. But yeah, the Uncle Buster was a fun show. I'd like to see you go on there, Simon. It's mostly men. I don't know if they ever have women because they go live and then they drop the stream. They drop the StreamYard link in the live chat, I guess, and then people can pop in, and so they can have 10 at a time. But it was mostly men when I was listening, but very smart men in there chatting, and I thought you'd be great to pop in there sometime. And then the one person that I was talking about was oh Jesus, now I forgot, Bellwether something, Crypto Bellwether.
Yep. Yeah, I watched him.
He was the one that was Negative Nancy. And his video title was Altcoin Tokenomics Explained with Examples, ICP and Jasmy. That's why, because I heard people talking about Jasmy, and so I was listening to him, and like I said, he was kind of a little bit negative, but in any event, I think it's good to listen to a variety of views, and then I can sit and mill on it and think, do I agree or don't I agree, or test my own knowledge of how much do I really know, and then come to you with questions like, Simon, what does this mean? So
either this or this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, about that, then they didn't know what they were talking about.
Right?
They're in discovery mode, not fact mode, but yeah. Yes. All good suggestions. Thank you, Melissa, very much so. I do have to break out and use the facilities. It's up to here.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, everybody have a good rest of your evening. We will see you next week. Same time, same day, same channel.
Channel.
We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.